And finally, this week, we have the My Android Journey section. And I'm delighted to say that we're joined by my former school friend, Fee Dunn. Fee, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, good. Yeah. Great grey weather here today though. It's been a bit meh. But yeah, other than that, it's all good. Yeah.
Excellent. Warren, do you want to drive the car on My Android Journey for a bit?
It is my favorite segment, and thank you so much for actually agreeing to come on and talk about your Android journey story. Something we haven't heard, for maybe a couple or so episodes now that we haven't had anyone come on to talk about their Android journey story. And thank you so much for doing so. So I would, like you to kind of take us down that road and talk to us about when you started on Android, all the difficulties you encountered and things like that. And, let that British wrath, just rip. You are throwing that wrath out there on Google. Let it rip.
Sometimes people call me Fiery Fee at certain times. That has happened in the past. Yes. Well, it goes back beyond Android, really. I originally was so thrilled when Nokia made Symbian phones and somebody else made Talks that you could put on there as a screen reader for the phones. And so I loved those. I had loads of different ones. And then eventually I moved over to the iPhone. And actually I started with an iPod Touch because I was like, touch screen. But so I thought, I'll get something where you don't have to actually answer calls for now and then get used to it. And then I went to an iPhone. But I really liked the sound of Android. And I bought myself a Samsung Galaxy Europa. Does anybody remember those? It had a touch screen and a joypad and a couple of other buttons. It was quite a small phone.
It's called the Europa?
It was really years and years and years ago, like 10 years ago or something, maybe more. It was a kind of cheapy pay-as-you-go plasticky thing.
Well, they were all very plasticky,
Yeah. And it was about the size of, you could probably get 3 of them into a current sort of flab type phone. But they were a bit thicker. Anyway, it wasn't very good. Android back then wasn't really. There was a TalkBack screen reader, and there was another one which doesn't exist anymore, and I can't remember the name of it.
Maybe it was Spill.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that's right. And I loved the idea of being able to change your screen reader and things like that, but I couldn't. The phone just wasn't that great. I'd also like the fact that at that time you could change the battery. So if your battery went wrong, you could have a new one and not have to send it anywhere. And I wish they still did that, but nobody seems to anymore. Then I had a Cha-Cha, which I think was HTC.
Yes.
And I liked that because it had a keyboard.
So you had a Cha-Cha?
It was a dance, the HTC Cha-Cha.
I was going to say, it's a dance, isn't it?
It was a beautiful dance.
But it was also a phone. It was also a phone. Yeah, it's a good job I had it as a phone because I did tap dancing, but other than that, my dancing abilities are, I'm better off with a phone than a dance, really. But yeah, it had a QWERTY keyboard. It was really small buttons, a bit like a BlackBerry, And I loved that. But it also, the bottom half was a keyboard, the top half was a touchscreen, and it was quite awesome. But again, a bit slow, a bit clunky. Gave it to my mum in the end and used something else. And then I decided to try again in about 2018, probably, roughly, I think. Nokia 5, when was that? About 2018?
Yeah, the Nokia 5, back in 2018.
Yeah, I decided to try it with Android, and I was thinking about getting a Samsung Galaxy, but they were quite pricey, and I didn't want to spend the money on that if I just couldn't stand Android at all in the first place. So I had a Nokia 5 for my birthday and tried it for a while, but it was a bit slow. And then I discovered from a friend that you could record in stereo on the Samsung Galaxy S9 and those kind of phones. So I got one of those, but that wasn't TalkBack. That was Samsung's voice assistant And actually, that was quite a deliberate decision because I wanted to be able to mute not talk back, the speech, in order to read Braille without the phone yabbering all the time. And I also thought that being able to pause and unpause media with the 2-finger double tap would be good. And at the time, I think you can do that with TalkBack now, but you couldn't then. But I got my S9 and I've been using it for ages. I also got a Galaxy A40 just because I could. Time was when I was using all the Symbian phones, people knew me as Fiona the Phonorack, which I spelt with an F, so it's like Fiona. But
why didn't you just go for Fiona Rack?
Because then it just sounds like I like myself lots, which is a bit weird.
That is true.
That sounds a bit weird.
You go, girl.
And then last week, I got myself a Samsung Galaxy S20 FE, and the reason I didn't go for the S21 because you can't put a memory card in it, and that annoyed me. And people keep saying, "Oh, but you can use the cloud. You can have your stuff in the cloud." But I like to know where it is. And we had a demo the other week, didn't we, of what happens when a big business goes wrong? Facebook. What if that happens?
You can say that again.
And what if Google does that and I can't get my music? No, I want it on and my Audible books and things. I want them on a memory card. And I want to be able to, because memory cards are quite cheap, really. Whereas if you get a phone with bigger memory, that can cost quite a lot more, even per month if you've got a contract or something, and that's just annoying. So I really like my Galaxy S20 FE. I still don't like Braille very much, unfortunately, as you might have gathered earlier on, because apart from everything else, when you use BrailleBack, whenever you connect your Braille machine, it makes this horrible chiming noise. And whenever you disconnect it, it makes this horrible other chiming noise. And that's fine if you could turn it off, but I don't know if you can. And someone's solution to it for me was, plug headphones in. Come on.
But come on, Fiona, you like music, don't you? That's a nice musical note there, Come on, girl.
Not only does Fiona like music, but she's a very accomplished singer.
Thank you.
Like seriously accomplished. I'm not just saying she can hold a tune on a karaoke night. She's a proper singer.
Ah, there you go.
I'm a musician. That's my thing. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So
do you have any amusing war stories from the setup of your S20 Fan Edition that you care to share with us?
I do. That's why you did ask me the question. Yes.
Good. Let us hear it.
That was good fun or something. So I like the vocalizer voices, and the voice I particularly like and have on my phone is Serena. Incidentally, they give you a trial on vocalizer voices when you first ever use them, unlike that Braille program. What's that about? If it's 10 quid, give people a trial of 7 days or even a day. Come on,
Anyway, it has a trial, doesn't it? I like to think it does. I'm not sure. I thought it.
No, ABK doesn't.
It doesn't.
ABK doesn't.
No. Nah, that's a shame. Okay, ABK guys, if you're listening, you need to give people a way to try it, because I think that people will buy something if they actually could try it, because it wouldn't make sense for me to go dump $12 on something that I'm not sure if it's going to work for me or not. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't. But anyway, so my setup, it all went very well for a while. Then I used the Smart Switch app, which is a Samsung thing, to get stuff off your old phone, which in this instance was my A40 that I'd been using with Vodafone before. That was all fine. But then I went into the settings for the speech, and it gave me Vocalizer as a choice that I could choose. And I thought, okay, Smart Switch must have transferred Vocalizer across. Great. So I chose it. That was a mistake, because suddenly my Android phone had turned into a Quaker. It was completely silent. So, for those who don't know, that's what you do in a Quaker meeting. There's a lot of silence, which can be quite nice in a Quaker meeting. Not so much in a phone when you need a screen reader. I had to go to the Vodafone shop, and the man, luckily I knew exactly what I needed to do, and the man helped me to change it back to the Google Voice so that I could then install Vocalizer. But my comment on this is that really, if the voice data isn't installed, I don't think that the option to choose it should be available, because that was a mess.
See, the problem here, Faye, is that I've always argued this point. I don't see this need of, separating the app from the voice data. Is absolutely stupid. They should all be bundled together. I don't care how long it takes me to download it, because if you don't, something like what you just talked about, could happen to someone and they're stuck. You don't have someone to help you. Of course, you have to go to some God knows where, some phone shop somewhere, and that's no bueno. So my argument is that bundle the voice data with the APK, so we don't have to install the APK and go download the voice data, blah, blah, blah. It's all stupid.
At least a basic voice, even if it's a bit of a rubbishy one, that'll make you need another one, just so that it speaks something.
I think that, at least I've had that experience on the Pixel, but it always defaults back to
That's true.
the Google
on
TTS.
The Pixel, it'll default to your Google TTS.
Yeah.
It didn't. What
same.
happened was, every time I did my PIN, the Samsung voice came back.
I think it was that voice assistant playing hide and seek with you.
But after the PIN, it went to just silence again, because the vocalizer had started but not started.
Yeah,
It
and
started
I think,
and then gone,
I think
I haven't got a voice.
The reason is because you didn't have the Google TTS or Google Speech Services. You have the Samsung TTS instead. But if you had a Google TTS, if it was a phone that comes with a Google TTS, this wouldn't have been the case.
It is on there.
I don't think it's the Google TTS. I think it's TalkBack. I think it's a feature of TalkBack. It'll default to the Google.
Well, I've got TalkBack.
But if you don't have Google TTS on there, because Samsung phones do not come with a Google TTS.
They do now.
That's
this one
Actually,
did anyway.
It's a feature of Google TTS, because I was using my commentary screen reader and I had a problem with my voices. That was actually a couple of days ago. And it switched back to Google TTS. And I have a
so maybe I need to change my if it doesn't work, switch to this voice to a Google one then instead of a Samsung one. But I'm not planning on uninstalling Vocalizer voice again, just so I can tell you whether
No, you don't want to do that.
No, life's too short. The other problem I had was that I had hidden the screen because I don't need to see it, and I don't particularly want other people looking at what I'm doing if I'm, out in public or something. So I thought, I can't use something like Aira, which is why I went to the Vodafone shop, because I could stop TalkBack completely, but then I couldn't easily interact with the phone. And what was really annoying was I couldn't, on an Apple phone, you do a triple 3-finger tap to turn the screen curtain, they call it, on and off. But as far as I could tell, there wasn't a similar gesture for the Android phones.
I think there is now.
No, I think there is. Yeah, I think there is. And most especially on a Samsung phone, though, there should be.
I couldn't find anything, and I did look for ages because it was really irritating.
You go you go into the TalkBack settings, and then
she couldn't do that. She had no speech.
Oh yeah. But to set it up though for future, you go into
go to something, customize it, set it to something.
I customize gestures, and then you choose a gesture you want to use, and then go through all the options. But I'm like 99% sure that's one of the options to hide.
Well, I looked the other day, and I didn't find. I looked through all of them for this, so that in future, and I couldn't find dimming the screen anywhere. I might have been, having a moment, but I did look because this was annoying and I wanted not to have that again.
It's called hide screen in TalkBack, I think, isn't it? It's in the menu.
I know, but there was nothing. Yeah, but it wasn't a thing I could choose. What I did do, though, for some reason, the 3-finger single tap wasn't bringing up the TalkBack menu. So I did set a 4-finger double tap to, or was it a triple? Anyway, something, 4-finger something to bring up the TalkBack menu, because that was the other thing. I couldn't bring that up in the pin screen so that I could show the screen instead of hiding it. But they need a gesture.
I do think it would be good. Yeah, I think it would be good if Vocalizer implemented something that eSpeak has, which is it will download a voice, especially if you've, it knows that you've bought the app because it's kind of installed. So when you
I think Acapella is similar as well.
No, Acapella also has voice data that will be treated like media. So if it's selected as a speech engine, it should try and ping a server for a voice, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think it does.
No, eSpeak does though. If you select eSpeak first, No, Acapella doesn't and Vocalizer doesn't, but eSpeak does.
Yeah, I've not tried. I didn't know eSpeak was on Android actually, so that's interesting. So thank you for that. I'm learning a lot.
It's horrible though.
I
don't like eSpeak.
That'll be why I didn't try it. But I found you guys because I was trying to find out things about TalkBack and stuff, because I'd been using Voice Assistant for the last 2 or 3 years. So I wanted to know more about TalkBack, and I typed into Google blind Android users. I had no idea that was the name of this podcast. But when I just searched stuff to do with TalkBack, all I got was things about how do you turn off this blooming thing kind of articles, cited people who got annoyed with it. So I thought, well, I'll search for blind Android users. And then I was like, oh, it's a podcast. Oh, wow. How did I not know about this? So, I found you by mistake, but it was a good mistake. So you obviously picked the right name.
Direct hit.
Yeah, it was. It was. And then I was like, Ed Green. Oh, blimey. I know that voice.
The voice and the person.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Fee. A great Android journey as ever. Austin, how do people find us?
The people can find us by going on to our website, that is blindandroidusers.com. They can email us with their questions or feedback by sending in an email to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. Subscribe to our mailing list, Blind Android Users, plus subscribe at groups.io. The links for the Telegram group, Clubhouse, YouTube channel, and Twitter will be in the show notes, and also the links for the form for our special events will be in the show notes. So that is it from us this week.
See you next week, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney at blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day.